Hello, my dear, and welcome to our 5 minutes with Ekaterina vlog about Dnipro, the central Ukraine. It is already winter, and the last few days were pretty hard in terms of the weather. There was a big storm, and the electricity grid was damaged because of the wind. On top of the damages caused by Russian drones that they launch every day. Only one day, when the weather was the worst, they stopped launching them, and we were thinking that maybe it is due to the weather, but that was not true because the very next day there was a massive drones attack. And drones attack is something when the situation when they launch 20 or more drones at the same time, which is pretty terrible. And we have the sirens lasting for a few hours every day. Few hours in a row, and then there's a break, and there's another siren, there's another break and another siren, and this is pretty stressful to get all these notifications on the phones and know that the rocket can hit the place near you or can hit your house. And this is not ungrounded just fear, because today Russians targeted civilians and killed the children in the Donetsk region. We don't know how many victims of the attack on the civilian houses are now, because the rescue operation is still ongoing. But Russians deliberately choose as their targets normal houses because they want to destroy Ukrainian spirit and to destroy the desire of resistance. That's why it is not safe to be in Ukraine still, and the biggest danger is the rocket danger. As for the situation at the front line itself, Russians are doing the active invasion, and they are attacking Ukrainian positions on the whole length of the front line. Despite the official news, you might read that they are in the active defense. It is an offensive operation, and the front line regretfully is moving inside of the territory of Ukraine, as you can see on deep state map. And that's something bad, and losing any kind of territories is a big loss for Ukraine. On the other hand, there is a small platform on the left bank of the Dnipro River. It is a territory held by Ukrainian army, but it's pretty small, and we need to use it as soon as possible, because Russians started to concentrate their troops there in order to throw Ukrainians again to the right bank of the river. Also, I would like to comment on the idea that Ukrainians should reach the peace agreement with Russians now, trading the territory on it. And this is the voice that we can hear more and more in the West. Regretfully, offering this, Western people or these politicians who kind of supporting this idea or newly supporting this idea, saying that Ukraine didn't reach any good advances during the summer campaign, we need to stop providing help, and we need to start negotiations with Russia. First of all, you don't, or hopefully not you, but these people don't understand that in order to talk about Ukraine, you need to ask Ukrainians first. I will come back to this in a minute. But the second thing, which is very important, I put it on the second place just because first let's talk to the people, then make any decisions. But even if you were about to make this peaceful agreement with Russia, you need to remember that Russia lies. Russia always lies about its intentions. Russia lies about the factual information. For 8 years, they denied the presence of the Russian army in the occupied zone. Then the half of the year of the full-scale invasion, they denied that they're actually invading. They deny even to their own people that it's a war, and they call it a special military operation for protection of people of Donbass. I don't know what they forget or what they were doing in Kherson region, what they were doing in Kiev region, and in Kiev Kiev region, for example, they deny the crimes in Bucha and in Irpin. So that's why you cannot negotiate with Russians, because any negotiations they will break. And trading the territories now will mean that in 5 years' time we will get another full-scale invasion and we will need to give up more territories. That's the second thing. But let's go back to the first one, ask Ukrainians first. There was a research of the reputable company. I will add the link in the description to this video. That was done in Odessa region. And before the full-scale invasion, Odessa, which is a Russian-speaking region, was considered as the region that supports Russia. And this is one of the biggest Russian supporters in the whole country. And in this region, there was done this research. Let me just read what the conclusions are. First of all, there was a question about readiness to negotiate with Russia. So if people can go into the negotiation table regardless of the situation at the front line. And 45% of respondents agree that the war can end only on Ukraine's terms. So that means the full deoccupation of the country. And at the same time, 37% of respondents are ready to make certain compromises for the sake of ending the war. And 6% of respondents said that they are ready to make any concessions to end the war. But when we are breaking down this data, especially this 37%, it turned out that because they had the list of questions that what are you ready, what is your readiness, what are you ready to give up, this or that. So in this thing, 34% said that they are ready not to join NATO, probably because Ukrainians don't believe that NATO will defend them, will protect them. They don't believe in international organizations anymore. And this is the biggest number. So out of this 37%, 34 believe that NATO, we cannot join this NATO alliance. Then the biggest number of respondents are saying that we can give the Russian language the status of the second national language, and this biggest percentage is 15%. So 15% of the Russian-speaking population of Odessa region are ready to give the Russian language this official status, which is amazing. Like people are literally basically Russian speakers then. And then the last percentage are ready to abandon the policy of decommunization. It is 12. As for the readiness to leave the occupied zones, the majority of people here who responded on this question, yes, they are ready to say that, okay, you can get to the borders which were the occupied zones before the full-scale invasion, which means to give the parts of Donetsk and Lugansk region and Crimea to Russia, and this number is 16%. Only 16% in one of the most Russian-supporting region of Ukraine are ready to get to the borders before the full-scale invasion. That's a very important number for all people saying that Ukraine should give up territories. Ukrainian people strongly disagree. But let's take a look about the data about this newly occupied territories. So for newly occupied territories, the percentage of people who are ready to give up them is only 8. So 8% of people say that we can stop the war right now at this point, at this front line. And then the least ideas that we should give Russia the concession is that only 6% of people are ready to reduce the number of military forces in Ukraine. And that's it. So that's the representative data. And that means that Ukrainians are not ready to give up their territories. And other regions, I'm pretty sure in other regions, the percentage of people willing to give up Ukrainian land is even less. So if you ask Ukrainians are pretty unified in this, and we do need to deoccupy our country. That's something to think about. If you can, please talk to your friends about it. If they don't believe you, just show them my videos, connect them to myself, and I will try to explain why it is so. But the statistical data says that actually we are not ready to give up any of our territories. We need to restore our borders of sovereignty, which is officially recognized by the world. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all your support. We have winter ahead and it's very worrying time. I don't know what is going to happen next, and I'm scared about what Russians can do in Ukraine. But I do think that we need to fight them till the moment of the last Russian soldier leaving the territory of Ukraine forever. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you very soon in better circumstances. Goodbye for now.